Well, hello, adventurer, and welcome to the Storytime Tavern. If you're here, I assume you're in search of more than just a drink. Well, I'll grab you one anyway, and in the meantime, sit tight. I'm sure a story or two will find its way to you soon. As the tavern keeper walks away, you take a second to look around the bar, be aware of your surroundings. You notice two gentlemen get up and start to walk your direction. The stark difference between the two is almost impossible to miss. The gentleman on the right is rather large, at least 7 feet tall, wearing nothing but a loincloth and, well, if you can call them shoes, and holding a giant club behind his back with one arm. The other gentleman to the left is real small, maybe a gnome or a dwarf, you can't quite tell because he's covered in robes. He's got a hood drawn so it's hard to make out any details. As they walk a little bit closer, the larger gentleman looks at you with a cocky grin and says, "I'm sorry you feel you have what it takes to be adventurer, but I can't help but notice you have quite small build. I suggest you maybe take a small quest for now. And I have one for you if you're willing to accept. There's a shack about 5 miles south from here. If you go looking, the first thing you'll spot next to it, there's a giant oak tree. This time of year, the leaves should be changing color, should be hard to miss. I want you to go there, and there's an old man. When he answers the door, you tell him Bramute sent you to take care of his rat problem. It's a rather safe quest. You only have to, if what he says is true anyway, you only have to take care of maybe 20-30 rats. You should not die. You maybe get bit, scruffed up a little bit, no big deal. And later on, when you gain some mass, some experience, you can come back and maybe you can carry the equipment for me on my next quest. You know, a real quest. You know that big men take." Bramute begins to walk away, leaving the smaller gentleman behind. As he finally exits the tavern, the smaller gentleman, not lifting his cloak, walks up close enough to say to you, "If you do decide to go on this quest, I suggest you use a little caution. You see, Bramute talks big game, because he is big man. But there's a reason he has not taken up this quest yet. You see, the rat problem is not limited to just the shack he's trying to send you to, no. All of the surrounding villages have been reporting an increase of rats. Now normally, it's no big deal, they're just rats. But I have seen a couple of these rats with my own eyes. These rats are anything but normal. They look as if the tops of their skulls have been removed, and you can see directly to their brain. But their brains are glowing with almost a radiant energy. Now, if you just find one, it's no big deal. It's just a rat. But it's when they get together that things get, well, not normal. You see, when they're in a group, it's like they can communicate with one another. They can move in unison together. It's like they're moving as one. But all the small brains come together to make one large brain, and they think for themselves. Or somebody else. I don't know what these rats are. I do not know who made these rats. But I can tell you it is not a product of Shanti herself. No gods would make rats like these. They move together with purpose. Almost as if they have orders that they're trying to follow. Now, who's giving these orders, I don't know. But adventurer, where there are minions, there is always a boss. With that, the smaller cloaked gentleman begins to make his way out of the tavern. After he leaves, you're left there for a short while to sit and think about everything that just went down. Until the tavern keeper walks back out and says, "Well, adventurer, it would appear that you found your story. What you do with this information is up to you. Be safe out there, adventurer. But of course, not too safe."